Hello, this is Forrest Price with our 100 Mondays. We are back now at number 8. Last week I said number 6 again, which was really number 7. So, yes, we are up to number 8. So it's been, wow, 2 months. So we're going good. And I will give you an update probably in a couple of weeks of how I'm doing as far as the very first one, which was number 1 on obesity. So this week we are back on our addiction series, our addiction to gambling, and how this is more important than that election or maybe even racism. So let's start with our addiction prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Please help me set aside everything I think I know about myself, my disease, these steps, and especially you, for an open mind and a new experience with myself and my disease. I know in my heart that only you can restore me to sanity. I humbly ask that you remove all twisted thought and addictive behavior from me this day. Heal my spirit and restore me in a clear mind. I have tried to control the uncontrollable for far too long. I ask that you take this burden from me. I acknowledge that my life is unmanageable. I ask for your care and guidance. Grant me honesty, courage, humility, and serenity to face that which keeps me from you and others. I give you this life to you to do as you will. Amen. All right. Addiction to gambling. Very, very, very important subject. I'll just run down what gambling addiction causes. It causes social problems, emotional problems, physical problems, psychological problems, occupational problems, family problems, and of course, financial devastation. And always start with my own story, and this one might be a little long because I've had a history of gambling. I think I started after my... No, it actually started on the back of my house with the gangsters shooting dice. So my gambling story starts there. Then it goes to probably my first trip to Vegas, and then the card rooms around L.A. I used to frequent a lot. This is how old I was when I first started. Texas Hold'em wasn't even popular. That was a game you played because you didn't want to wait an hour to get on a stud table. That's how unpopular it was, and now it is the phenom of the world. I then went into gambling on football games, college and NFL, and literally I was either in Vegas every week or we had people who flew in every Wednesday to place our bets and get our money from the week before. Then we had a hookup down there, and that really didn't stop until she graduated from UNLV. So that hookup was gone, and a lot of people kind of dropped off. But I was gambling on horse races. I was gambling a lot, or playing poker all the time. And if I had an epiphany, it was probably the times I would be at the poker room for like 8 hours. I wouldn't leave till about three or so in the morning. And what started to get to me was seeing a lot of older women on the table, and they weren't very good. And they would keep having to reach back into their pocketbook to get more money. And I couldn't assume they had money. I had to assume that they were on a budget, and they were throwing their budget away because they didn't play well, and I started to feel bad taking their money. And I think that was what stopped me from gambling as much. I'll take you to the present. Like if I go to Vegas, I don't gamble on anything. The only thing I'll play are poker tournaments now, and I rarely do that. I haven't been to a poker room probably over a year. So I pretty much quit all gambling. But even when I was financially stable, last 10 years, I barely did it. So even though that saddened me, it probably wasn't awakening. I don't think I had a gambling problem because I was definitely smart about it. I always had a limit. And if you do gamble for just joy or, that's what you're into, be responsible. Well, I guess you can say my fantasy league is gambling, but I didn't play this year. So that is my history. Let's see what gambling can cause. Gambling addiction can cause you to lose your friends and family very easily. Many divorces are caused by a gambling addiction and the results from untreated addiction. A gambling problem causes tremendous social isolation since gambling seems to become the most important thing in that person's life. An untreated and severe gambling problem can cause the worst anxiety and depressions, which leads to incredible sense of despair. This despair can lead to gambling-related suicides, which are not uncommon. Gambling addiction has the highest suicide rate of all addictions, hands down. This addiction can cause a lack of functioning in all areas of life, including work. Many people lost their jobs as a result of gambling problems. This can compound the financial devastation already experienced from the addiction itself. Compulsive gambling can become all-encompassing in your life. The physical health of the gambler can deteriorate rapidly. If you're struggling with this addiction yourself, you may not be eating right, exercising, visiting a doctor, or taking care of your teeth. These physical problems can truly take a serious toll on health, and the neglect of your body can result in very serious consequences. Financial ruin is a direct result of this addiction, and gambling debts can become so huge and insurmountable that bankruptcy seems to be the only option. Debts from gambling can also result in foreclosures, loss of savings, retirement accounts, and maxed out credit cards. The financial fallout of a gambling addiction can be long-lasting, way past when the addiction stops. So please be responsible. The last thing I'm going to note is if you have someone in your household that has a gambling problem, more like a spouse or a son or daughter, or maybe even a parent, seek professional advice about how to protect your family's assets and income. Do not lend the gambler money. Do not pay the gambler's debts. Decide if you can manage the gambler's money. If not, you may need to maintain separate bank accounts and credit cards. Remove your name from joint accounts and avoid inheriting the gambler's debts. A gambling counselor can help you avoid a bad credit history if you have joint credit or loans with the gambler. Take control of the finances. Take control of the bills, the mortgage, and regular debts, and limit access to cash. Budget and allow each member of the family some spending money, including the problem gambler. Check the mail yourself for bills. Keep records of all financial, including assets, income, expenses, contributions, and gifts. Photocopy all the important documents such as the house title, marriage and birth certificates, and tax filing numbers. Don't sign anything you don't understand or are not prepared to pay for. So, if you do have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-662-HELP. I hope this has been helpful. Next Monday, we will be up to number 9, and we will be on our dependency to a single political party. See you next Monday.